BP have just posted their results, their first quarter profits for 2023. The oil giant has reported £4 billion, $5 million quarter profits, beating expectations. Yet another oil giant earning an absolute fortune while we struggle to pay our bills. Never goes down well, does it?
It doesn't, and they are slightly ahead of expectations. They are down on the same quarter last year, and they're probably now on a sort of slow down trend because the simple fact is that wholesale oil and gas prices have come down quite a long way. So the heat that BP and Shell and others run into every time they have a profit announcement will start to diminish slightly. The fact is these profits are made at the wholesale end, not from the retail businesses really, but that the public doesn't really grasp that. Yeah. So yeah, they'll get a wave of flack. But what can they do? Prices went up. You know, the world needs their products. They're going through a period in which exceptional profits were available to them, and they are harvesting those profits.
Well, indeed, and so much of that profit isn't actually made, weirdly, from selling stuff to us. It's because they're paying a fortune for the wholesale because they also make a fortune in the stuff that they sell. But again, it just feeds in. I know Labour are saying today that all the oil giants and energy giants together make something like 60 million profit a day, huge sums of money. Let's also talk about business confidence, because business confidence is being restored after plummeting at the end of last year, according to a new report. But there's also the claims that there are dark clouds on the horizon. Explain what that's all about.
Yes, okay. Well, that I think you're quoting a Federation of Small Businesses survey there. The small businesses were deeply gloomy towards the end of last year, and they're a bit more cheerful now. That's the brief summary. Yeah. The dark clouds are that the economy is kind of flatlining. Interest rates could go up a bit more. Input costs, food costs are at a record level. We hear today energy costs are still high, even if wholesale prices have come down a bit. They're still scorchingly high if you're a small business with a big electricity bill. So they are up against it. On the other hand, can you see that sort of swing towards being a bit more cheerful? Can you actually see that in the high street, in Oxford Street? You can a bit. I mean, you know, it sometimes does surprise me to see how eager consumers look. And you know, the hospitality sector, which I use as a benchmark all the time, is really quite busy everywhere. So, you know, yeah, they're up against it. They are really struggling against these cost rises plus possible interest rates.
Well, that's the thing. That's strange thing. You see people out shopping, and you say you can't get a table in at a pub for lunch or a restaurant table, and yet actually we see hospitality closing its doors and going under at a rate we've never seen before, and we see all these businesses saying they're really struggling to pay their bills. So it doesn't quite add up, does it? One of the big concerns.
It doesn't, but there are long-term trends, aren't there? I mean, pubs, sadly. Pubs, and especially village pubs, have been closing at a steady rate for years now, and it was something like 12 hospitality outlets a day closing in the recent period, and that is a long-term trend, as is the sort of collapse of many big retail brands. That the good ones, the strong ones survive, but we can see. I think you say you can see it. I can certainly see it. That consumers are not as hesitant to spend as we thought they might be by now.
But they do like to see a sale sign up, don't they? And I always wonder, it's amazing actually, you walk along the streets, obviously, there are lots of people, not many people carrying bags suggesting they've actually bought something. Can I ask you also about where we are with banking? We had the collapse of the bank, Silicon Valley Bank, and then we had Credit Suisse as well. Now we've had a third bank. We've had First Republic in America. They've been taken over by JPMorgan. They were actually, their assets, £138 billion of loans, which JPMorgan has acquired. Lots of people just really concerned that, it's just very slow. It's not a big crisis, right, day after day, but this feeling that actually an awful lot of banks are not going to be able to withstand the markets at the current time. How worried should we be about anyone who's got savings, their savings?
I will stick my neck out and say, not too worried, frankly. This is a ripple. It's not an earthquake. The chairman of JPMorgan Chase, Jamie Dimon, the world's leading banker, probably, he's saying it's over. Well, he would say that, wouldn't he? He's picked up rather a bargain in First Republic. Yep. He's sitting on the biggest bank that's clearly too big to fail, would clearly be supported if it was in trouble. But I noticed some commentators saying, oops, take a closer look at JPMorgan Chase. Maybe they're overexposed. There's a nervousness in the market and there's a media willingness to talk this up. There's a narrative about a banking crisis. But it isn't, so far as any serious analysts can tell, it isn't a sustained banking crisis. Bank balance sheets really are looking pretty strong compared to the earlier periods. There might be some other, fallers at some of the fences because of rising interest rates, bond portfolios, all the technical stuff that can hit them. But really, the underlying story is banks are pretty strong. These are outliers. I'll take that position.
We've got that on record, Martin.
3 weeks' time.
Yes, exactly.
To explain why that was
we're all
wrong.
queuing up outside Lloyd's. Martin Vander Weyer, business editor of The Spectator, thank you very much.